Good morning, children. Welcome back. Continuing with lesson number 2, last part. Before that, just review what we have studied in the last week. Yes, we have studied about Babur and the family tree of Mughals. Yes, we have also studied how the Mughals had ruled different kingdoms, they had conquered different regions and brought them under their control. They had to face different enemies. The strong contenders who faced against the Mughals were Maharana Pratap, Chand Bibi, and Rani Durgavati. Now, this time we are going to study some more points, that is the end of the lesson about Aurangzeb and the conflict with other kingdom. So, let's begin with Aurangzeb. You all know that Aurangzeb was the last Mughal emperor. He became emperor in 1658 CE. CE, that is Common Era. At this time, the Mughal Empire extended from Kashmir in the north up to Ahmednagar in the south and from Kabul in the west up to Bengal in the east. Already the Mughal Empire had set up their boundaries. They had extended their kingdom. To add this, Aurangzeb had also conquered some more regions and brought under the control of Mughal Empire. So which were the regions? Assam in the east and the regions of Adil Shahi of Bijapur in the south and Qutub Shahi of Golconda. After he ended these rulers, he had brought these regions, that is Adil Shahi and Qutub Shahi, under the control of Mughal emperor. Moving on to the next part is conflict with the Ahams. A group of people, that is a community, had settled down in the valley of river Brahmaputra in the 13th century CE, that is Common Era. This community was called as Shan community. They had established their kingdom near the river Brahmaputra. These people were locally known as Aham people. When Aurangzeb had heard that the Ahams had conquered and established their regions near the river Brahmaputra, so Aurangzeb had tried to attack on the Ahams region. Ahams had to face a lots of struggle to fight against the Mughals. But Mughals continued to fight against Ahams. The Ahams had united together, and in this unity they had appointed a leader named Gadadhar Sina. That is, Gadadhar Sina was the leader of Aham community who had fight against the Mughals. As we all know that the Ahams had appointed a leader named Gadadhar Sina. In the same way, they had appointed a commander named Lachit Borphu Khan, who had give a tough fight to the Mughals, and he had tried to establish the Aham powers in Assam. Ahams had used a guerrilla technique in the conflict against the Mughals. That is, they were not trained but still they struggled hard to fight against the Mughals. Because of that, Mughals could not establish their powers in the Assam. It was difficult for the Mughals to fight against Ahams, and ultimately they had to leave the Assam region. When Aurangzeb could not succeed to establish his powers in the Assam region, then he moved on to other region. So he had conflict with the Sikhs. The ninth Guru of the Sikhs, that is Guru Tegh Bahadur, had fight against Aurangzeb's policy of religious intolerance. He had protested. He was not in the favor of religious intolerance. Aurangzeb treated Hindu and Muslim unequally. Inequality was there in the society. Because of this, when Guru Tegh Bahadur had opposed Aurangzeb, Aurangzeb decided to put Guru Tegh Bahadur in the prison and he beheaded him. That is, he had cut his head in the year 1675 CE, Common Era. After the death of Guru Tegh Bahadur, the next Guru of the Sikhs was Guru Gobind Singh. He was the 10th Guru. He organized his followers and encouraged their martial spirit. Martial spirit, that is, he had asked them to learn the technique of self-defense to protect themselves from the enemy's attack. When Guru Gobind Singh had taught his followers the technique of self-defense and asked them to learn this technique, he organized the Sikh youths into a fighting force, and that was called as the Khalsa Dal. He had established his headquarters at Anandpur. When Guru Gobind Singh had set up his headquarters at Anandpur and trained the Sikh youths to fight against the enemies, the news had reached to Aurangzeb. Aurangzeb had decided to send his Mughal army. As the Mughal army went to Anandpur and attacked on the Sikh youths, the Sikh youths had fought fearlessly, that is, they had fought bravely with full confidence, but ultimately they could not succeed. When the Sikhs got defeated from the Mughals in the battle, they decided to leave Anandpur. Along with Guru Gobind Singh, all the Sikh youths left Anandpur and reached Deccan in 1708 CE Common Era. When they settled at Nanded, there was an attempt made on life of Guru Gobind Singh. Two Mughal Sardars had brought poisonous arrows and they had hit Guru Gobind Singh. Soon after, the Guru succumbed to his wound, that is, the pain was not resistant. He could not resist the pain and ultimately he had laid down his life. Moving on to the next part is conflict with the Rajputs. We have studied about Akbar, that he was a most powerful king in the Mughal dynasty. Even his nature was friendly. Because of his good relation, he had secured cooperation from the Rajputs. But on the other hand, Aurangzeb could not attain or obtain cooperation from Rajputs because of his weird behavior. Because of his inequality among Hindus and Muslims created an incooperation from the Rajput towards him. A Rajput king named Rana Jaswant Singh was the king of Marwar. But after the death of Rana Jaswant Singh, Aurangzeb had captured the region of Marwar and brought the region of Marwar under the control of Mughal Empire. At that time, Durgadas Rathod crowned Rana Jaswant Singh's minor son, that is, the younger son of Jaswant Singh was Ajit Singh, as the king of Marwar. A Rajput Sardar, Durgadas Rathod, had fought hard against the Mughals. He did not give the Rajput kingdom so easily in the hands of Mughals. By seeing this, Aurangzeb got angry. So he decided to send Prince Akbar to Marwar to crush the powers of Durgadas Rathod and capture the Rajput kingdom and bring under the control of Mughal Empire. When Prince Akbar went to Marwar, he had joined hands with Rajputs and protested against the policies of Aurangzeb. In this, an effort was made to take the help from the Marathas from Maharashtra. That is, along with Rajputs, Marathas are also going to help and defeat the Mughal Empire. In the revolt against Mughals, Durgadas Rathod continued his struggle against Mughals for the existence of Marwar region. He did not let his Rajput kingdom to go in the hands of Mughal Empire and continued the struggle till the end of his life for the existence of his kingdom. Moving on to the last part of the lesson is conflict with the Marathas. In Maharashtra, Swaraj was established under the leadership of Shivaji Maharaj. We know that Shivaji Maharaj was having a dream of establishing Swaraj, that is, self-independence. In his efforts to establish Swaraj, Shivaji Maharaj had to fight against Mughals, and not only Mughals but other enemies too. Aurangzeb came down to Deccan after the death of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj with the intention of conquering the whole of South India. He thought that he would capture the whole of South India and bring the region of South India under the control of Mughal Empire. But he could not do so. But the Marathas offered stiff resistance to Aurangzeb and defended their independence. That is, they had tried to protect their independence. They did not let the Maratha powers to go in the hands of Mughals. They had continued the struggle till the end of their life. And this struggle gave its fruits in the future. I hope you have understood the lesson. Thank you. Have a good day.